We're ready.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting of the Texarkana, Texas City Council. Today is Monday, February. Have your attention, please. Are we on? Are the microphones on? Okay. Welcome, everyone, to the regular meeting of the Texarkana, Texas City Council. Today. Yeah, I'm just doing. We haven't had roll call yet. Okay. Once again, welcome to our regular meeting of the Texarkana, Texas City Council. Today is Monday, February the 28th, 2022. We'd like to welcome all of you who are joining us this evening. I do have an announcement that I do need to read. It states that tonight's meeting is not being live streamed in its normal location on the city's website meeting page, but viewers can still see the meeting's live stream format on the city's main page under the heading City News and Events via YouTube. So a little bit of a different twist for our council meeting this evening. And at this time, I would call on our city secretary, Jennifer Evans, to provide a roll call. Ms. Evans?
Mr. Davis? Here. Ms. Page? Here. Ms. Hart? Here. Ms. Williams?
Here.
Ms. Matlock?
Here.
Mr. Harp?
Here. We do have a full council this evening. If everyone would please stand, I will provide the invocation. And also, I'd like to recognize some Boy Scouts from Troop 86. And I'm going to ask them to please come forward, and they will help lead our pledge this evening. And as they come forward, I'd like to recognize them. Their names are Brown Harvey, Pierce Warner, Max Curry, and Payne Cook. If you all would just please come forward and stand right there. And I will provide the invocation, and then I'll ask you all to lead us in the pledge, okay? All right. If you'll bow your heads, please. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day that you provided. We thank you for the opportunity to assemble here this evening as a council to conduct business on behalf of our citizens. We'd like for you to bless all of those who are joining us here in our council chambers this evening, as well as those who are joining us online. And Father, we especially ask that you be watchful over the citizens of Ukraine as they face just unsurmountable challenges and issues involving their safety, involving their families, involving their businesses. We certainly ask that you please watch over these citizens of Ukraine. We also ask that you be with our leaders across the globe as they deal with this issue as well. And we also ask that you be with our police officers and our firefighters and other city employees here at the City of Texarkana, Texas, that they will continue to do their great job in providing safety and protection and services for our citizens. We ask these things in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
Gentlemen, if you will lead us in the pledge. Flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right, thank you all very much. You may be seated. Just a few remarks to make this evening as we begin our meeting. Our upcoming council meetings for the month of March will be on Monday, March the 14th and Monday, March the 28th at 6 p.m. here in the council chambers. Also, in reference to Parks and Recreation events, March the 5th through the 6th will be the P2A baseball tournament at Spring Lake Park, and then March the 12th and the 13th is the NCS baseball tournament that will also be held at Spring Lake Park. Additional park and recreation information can be found on the city's website or by contacting the city staff at 903-798-3978. We'll also have an Arbor Day tree giveaway. The 8th annual Arbor Day tree giveaway will be a special drive-through event again this year. It will be held this coming Saturday at Spring Lake Park across from the Rotary Splash Pad, and it will begin at 9 a.m. and There will be trees available for those who attend while supplies last. Contributing sponsors this year include the Texas A&M Forest Service, Master Gardeners of Bowie and Miller counties, and Partnership for the Pathway. We certainly want to thank our sponsors for helping with this event this year. A couple of just items to cover with you. As a reminder, tomorrow, March the 1st, is the Texas primary election day. Early voting concluded last week, so I encourage the citizens on the Texas side to exercise your right in voting and going out tomorrow to vote for various state elections that are upcoming. And we also want to mention that last Friday, our Homeless Coalition had a chili cook-off that was held downtown across from the Salvation Army. And I want to thank David Orr, our city manager, as well as Jay Ellington, the Texarkana, Arkansas city manager, Jeff Easterling, and also Mayor Pro Tem and Council Member Gene Matlock for filling in for me. I had a conflict that evening, and so Councilmember Matlock was gracious enough to fill in for me. I understand it was a great event. It was a chili event at the chili cook-off. But, just downright cold, wasn't it, Ms. Matlock?
Yes, it was.
So anyway, also I'd like to share with you this evening, the students at Morris Elementary School here in the city have been studying government, city government, and they've been studying the role of the mayor of the city. And I was privileged to receive several letters from these second grade students, including our city manager, David Orr's son, Ellison. This is his actual letter right here that I'm holding up. And so I want to thank the teachers, Ms. McCloskey, Mrs. Foster, and Mrs. Duke, for their students providing these letters. And so what I did is I read through each one of them, and these students made some suggestions on some things that they would like to see in our city. And so I took bits and pieces of their letters, and I would like to share with you some of those comments that they made. And some of them are pretty interesting. So one thing that these second graders would like to see is a roller coaster downtown. So we'll get started on that. And then there's one student who said that she would like to see an event held, and it would be called the Daughter-Daddy Night, which would be a dance and that sort of thing. We have a student who would like to see a hockey rink and also a screening room next to the Perot Theater. So the way I understood the letter is if someone was supposed to view something, they weren't able to do it at the appropriate time, they could go to the screening room near the Perot to watch whatever they need to watch. This particular student said that they would like to see fire stations, a fire station north, a fire station east, a fire station south, and a fire station west. And the reason is so they can get there faster. That was their explanation, referring to the firemen. They can get there faster. Also, a student would like to see a new sports team come to the city, and the name of the team would be the Texarkana Bears. Also, this student asked a question of me, and this is a pretty tall order. This student asked me, can you make everyone happy? That is a very difficult challenge, but I will do my best in order to do that. One student says, I love so much that we are building, I love it so much that we are building more things, but please leave some space. That was their request. Another student would like to see an upgrade at the Whataburger. So we want to pass that along this evening. We'd like to see more people picking up trash in the city. And one student would like to see 2 more water parks and 1 normal park, whatever that normal park might be. More churches so people can worship Him more. And one student responded, the Hotel Grim looks way better right now. And then this one really makes me feel very old, because this student wrote, you have been mayor all my life. And one student writes they'd like to see a grocery store and a school in the downtown area. And then this final student says, I'm 8 years old. I was born in 2013. I'm single. So they wanted us to be aware of that. So I want to thank the students at Morris Elementary you can't make this stuff up. This is all original. So I really thank the students for, and David, your son included, for providing these letters to me. I really enjoyed reading those. At this time, we'll move along to special recognition. We have in the audience with us this evening Les Minor. Les Minor is a longtime employee of the Texarkana Gazette, more recently serving as the editor. So we have read his columns for many, many years. I had the opportunity to work really closely with Les back in my days in corporate communications at SWEPCO, and we had a lot of activity together, and so I cherish those moments as well. And I've asked Les to be here this evening, to just kind of share with us his thoughts about his career at the Gazette, maybe some memorable articles that appeared or unusual things that may have happened, just whatever he would like to share with us this evening. So Les, I would like to welcome you to our council meeting, and if you don't mind, if you'll just come forward over here to the podium, and we welcome you and look forward to your remarks this evening. Mr. Les Minor.
All right. Thanks, Bob. Hi, council. How are y'all? You know, I appreciate you all putting up with me for all of these years. I have been editor a few years. I've been editor 35 and a half years. And that was never the plan. It was never the company's plan. It was never my plan at all. I was kind of a placeholder, I thought, and they kept bringing people in from other places and trying to give the job away to somebody else. And at the end of the day, I was the guy they gave it to, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful for this city that I live in. I'm very grateful to be a public servant like you guys are public servants, because it's a very nice job when people are happy with what you do. And it's a pretty bad job when people are unhappy with what you do. And I've always had to be the guy who lives there with both of those things all of my days. And that's not easy. It's not. I mean, it wears on you. I should have been the most popular guy in my class at some point, and that should have been what I grabbed onto. But that was never my place. It was to figure out how to be the guy in between and help the community sort things out. And I think that's what a newspaper does. When it's doing its best, it's helping a community have a conversation with itself. And I look at what this town looked like when I came here in 1982, 5 years before I became the editor. And we had pastures along our interstate highways. And none of the I-30 corridor had been developed. I mean, things have changed drastically in the 40 years that I've been here. And I take credit for all the good that represents. The bad stuff, not so much. But I don't know. This is a really interesting time in my life, because I've always known what the next step was going to look like. And I really don't know what my next step is going to look like right now. And if I don't seem really exuberant right now, it's because I kind of have a cold, and I just don't really feel all that cheery. But, you know, the other area you guys have made a tremendous amount of progress is intercity relationships. And I've seen a lot of them in the past 35 years. But I like where the cities are going. I like the cooperation between the two cities. I like what the chamber is doing. I think we have a great future ahead of us. I won't be in the center of it all, but there's going to be good people at the Gazette who are at the center of it all, and we're going to make this town a lot better going forward. And you know what? None of you guys were here when I first took the job. Isn't that amazing, though? We live in a government, in a town, a place, the way we do business, where we can change all these parts. Everything changes, and yet we all move forward, and we're all at a better place. It's what I love about this place. It's what I love about this country. And I'm so glad I had a role in all this. And now I'm going to have a bit better role with my family. So I thank you all for all the support you've given me over the years. Bob, you ought to stand up and say, Les, you're out of here. If you don't know, he's an umpire. He's an umpire. For how long have you been an umpire?
This is my 43rd year.
See, he's trying to show me up.
I'm getting better. I'm getting better. So 43 years. So.
All right, anything else I need to do?
Any memorable events or anything?
I was thinking about that list that the second graders gave, and I was thinking, there was a time, I don't know if you remember it, but somebody actually was talking about putting an amusement park in downtown that would have actually had a roller coaster. I think it was probably before your term. Pretty shady deal, but it was pretty interesting. And we had a hockey ring once.
We did at the fairgrounds.
So, yeah, that was another fiasco, but that wasn't on the city, not in any way. I have a lot of memories, but no, I'm fine. So.
Well, yes, we certainly we want to congratulate you for your many years of service covering news in Texarkana and reporting editorials as far as viewpoints and from the Gazette and your viewpoints as a writer and a journalist. And we certainly wish you much success in the future, whatever comes before you as far as any future endeavors or just retirement and taking it easy. So we look forward to still having you around in our community, and best of luck to you in the future.
Well, thank you very much, Bob. Thank you all.
All right.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll move along to our open forum comments from the public. If we have anyone in the audience this evening who would like to address the council, you're certainly welcome to do so. You will have up to 5 minutes to speak on any topic. If you are here this evening and you were wanting to speak on behalf of one of our public hearing items, then I will ask if you will please wait till we get to that particular public hearing item. We'll be more than happy to listen to your comments at that time. And if you do want to address the council, there are some yellow sheets in the rack on the wall next to the entry doors. And we do have one sheet that's been filled out this evening, and it's been filled out by Christy Kendrick. And she would like to address the council in reference to the Beverly Community Center. And so, Ms. Kendrick, if you'll please come forward.
No, that's fine. You're good? Yeah, I'll talk loud anyway. Okay. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Ms. King, if you don't mind, would you please state your name for the record?
Okay. My name is Christy Kendrick. I am a lifelong resident of the Beverly community.
All right. Good evening.
I have been there for over 40 plus years, but I'm only 21. My concern that I come to you today is, now, mind you, I have been a lifelong member, but I've also served as on the committee for the revision of the city charter. I've also served on the budget advisory board, and I'm currently the president of the Neighborhood Association for the Beverly Heights area. I come to you twofold for the Beverly community as well as for the Beverly Community Center. I'm not sure if you're aware, but in 2018, I signed a lease agreement. And they accepted a bid from a proposal from my nonprofit, which is Amachi Vision Corps Incorporated. And we were grateful to receive it to facilitate the Beverly Community Center. Like I said, that was in 2018. We're now in 2022. My concern is that I am not doing my due diligence in serving the community because I don't have that facility open. I'm sure you're well aware of the crime in the area with our youth. There's no outlet for these kids, and the Beverly community gets a bad rap because of where it is and the people that are there. I am a firm believer that people learn by example, and the example that they're getting is the negativity that's there in the community, and there's no positive output for them. So I'm coming before the city today pleading, help me help you. help me, help you, help us. Help our community to be better. Help our kids to be better. Help us to do better. First, let me commend Mr. Rachel Fernandez. He has done a super fantastic job as a community liaison and bringing forth the Beverly community and coming out and doing various workshops. Mr. Orr has definitely stepped up. He was able to have the city to match our donated funds, which is $25,000. Now, that being said, that $25,000 along with the money that we had donated was supposed to be purposed for the revitalization of the community center, which is to bring the building up to code so we can get our certificate of occupancy. Once again, this is 2022. It has been a 4-year labor of love, and I am not able to serve the community like I would like to. So I am pleading to the board to do something. I don't know what it's going to take to expedite the situation. I understand the materials are not coming in on time, but I hate to be emotional, but that community needs help, and I just don't feel like we're getting it. That's all.
Ms. Kendrick, thank you for being here this evening. We certainly appreciate your comments. Okay, we have 2 more sheets that have been filled out, and the next resident is Ashley, is it Soren?
Sozen.
How do you spell that?
Eileen Sozen.
Suzanne? Okay, all right. And she would like to address the council in reference to the community center. So, yes, ma'am, if you'll please come forward to the podium with the microphone, and if you'll please state your name for the record.
Hi, my name is Eileen Sozen. I've been a resident in Texarkana for about, I would say, 22 years. I'm originally from Turkey, but I grew up in Germany, and I came to Texarkana and been here since 22 years. So I consider this as my hometown, and I like it here. I have 3 children. One is right here. They all grown. And I personally wanted to speak on behalf of the center. When I first came here, was not very fortunate. I stayed at the women's shelter. Then I came out and worked myself up. And so back then, this is literally, I think, about, I'm not sure, maybe 15 to 18 years ago when the community center was actually open. I remember being the single mom, low income, and not really having the capability like some of the people in better situations where the mom is there, the dad, grandparents. None of my family is here, but that's all beside the point. But I was so happy that there was a place I could take my kids, and there was activity for them, and it was a safe environment. So what I'm not understanding is Texarkana is very capable. Now look what we just did with the Grimm Hotel. So what I just don't understand is, why can't we not get a small little community center up and running 4 years? I mean, so now I'm thinking, what can it be? I know Texarkana is capable. It's not the money. So could it be that just the persons who are above, all of this, it's not to their interest? So basically, they care less. What really happens to those community, and excuse my English, it's not perfect, but what really happens to the children there? That's the only conclusion that I have why we don't have this community center running, because they really, truly don't care. And I'm always been known for the person to be outspoken. There's a lot of people not gonna like this, but that's the truth. They just simply don't care. That's why it's not running. To give an excuse saying materials are not there, I mean, I flip home, so it's not like, don't know what's going on. There are materials. You might have to wait 6 weeks, sometimes to 2 months, but she's been waiting for how long? And still the explanation is materials, lack of materials. So I would appreciate whoever is in charge of this to just go ahead and just say, what is the real reason? What's the holdup? Why is this not running and going? Just be honest about it and let's just move on. Well, that's all I have to say. Thank you for listening.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Thank you for your comments, ma'am. I do have one additional form that's filled out. Is it Eileen? Am I pronouncing the first name? Aylin? Eileen, okay, Soren. And she would also like to address the council in reference to the community center. Good evening, ma'am. If you'll please state your name for the record.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Eileen Sozen. That was my mother who just came up and spoke. I grew up in this town, and you know, I grew up low income. I grew up with a single mother who was constantly working to take care of us, me and my siblings. And we lived in Beverly for quite a while. And I just want to say that Beverly obviously is an economically disadvantaged neighborhood that is predominantly a black and brown neighborhood. And it is a well-known fact that predominantly black and brown neighborhoods are always the last to get the attention that they so deserve. I also want to go back to when I was an adolescent, when I was a youth, I frequented community centers that I truly benefited from. I was around positive people. I unfortunately had a lot of friends who didn't grow up in an environment like that, who ended up being incarcerated. And I think what happens is when we're talking about black and brown folks, we're quick to incarcerate these people for crimes that they commit instead of truly working to rehabilitate us in our community. So again, like my mom said, what is happening here? Why are we stalling? If we look at other parts of Texarkana, for instance, Pleasant Grove, which is an economically advantaged neighborhood, we're quick to build there. You guys have all the healthy food centers, fast food places, whereas we have the Mickey D's, Burger Kings, you're feeding us French fries. You don't really care about us, and you can say what you like about it, but that's the truth. I now live in New York. I'm a social worker, and I know what these centers do for communities in need. So I hope that you guys can get the ball rolling. I was here over the summer. I participated in a community cleanup for what's supposed to be the Beverly Community Center, thinking that when I came back, something would be in fruition happening, but yet we're still stalling, or you guys are all still kind of stalling. So yeah, I truly hope that we can see something positive happen here. Again, the community needs it. We're talking about low-income folks. Most of these children, they grow up with one parent, unfortunately, and there's stigma attached to the black community, to the brown community. We're seen as the pests still. You can say what you want. So I'll just leave it at that, and I hope that we can see some positive contributions happening in Beverly instead of just in Pleasant Grove and the more affluent areas of this particular town. Because I grew up here, I want to see it. I want to see the youth succeed, and I want there to be equal opportunity for everyone, not just for those who are privileged in this society. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your comments. Dr. Orr, maybe could you provide maybe the council kind of an update on where, in the next few days, kind of where we are with this project?
Sure, we'll provide a full update on where we're at in the construction schedule.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council this evening? Okay.
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Hart?
may I?
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to assure the residents of Beverly, as a part of Ward 2, someone does care. And someone
Excuse me,
really
Mrs. Hart.
out
Mrs.
for
Hart,
all.
can you please put on your microphone,
Yeah, Ms.
please?
I think you can turn your microphone on.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry. I would like to assure you all that someone does care about you all. You're a part of our community. Everybody's important. Everybody means something in the community. And that we will be working together to address all areas. I want you all to know that. It may seem like nothing is being done, but something is going to be done. We're looking forward to working with everybody. It's a lot of issues to be addressed, but we will get to them. I appreciate you all coming and sharing with us.
Thank you, Ms. Hart. At this time, we'll move along to our appointments to boards and commissions and committees. Do we have any appointments this evening to boards, commissions, or committees? Hearing none, we'll move along to items for consideration. We have two items on the consent agenda. Item 1 is consider approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of the City Council held on February 14th, 2022 at 6 p.m. Item 2 is ordinance number 2022-017, amending the budget to establish the Police Department Youth Outreach Program Fund, Fund 602, and adding revenue and expenditures of $50,000. Unless a council member would like to pull one or more items for further consideration, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as it has been presented.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Davis and a second by Councilmember Hart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Consent agenda has been approved. We do have one action item this evening. Item 3, resolution number 2022-006, amending the purchasing policy manual for the city of Texarkana, Texas. And we have that scheduled for the council for consideration this evening. Any questions by the council on this item? All right. Any staff input, David, on this item?
We have no further comments unless you have questions on the policy manual.
All right. If there aren't any questions, at this time I will entertain a motion for approval of the resolution. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilmember Williams and a second by, I heard Councilmember Page. So we have a second by Councilmember Page. This item is a resolution. It's not an ordinance, so it does not have a caption. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The resolution is passed. Moving along to our first briefings, we do have two first briefings this evening. Item 1 is ordinance number 2022-019, rezoning a 2.89 acre tract of land being tract 32 in the W.H. Ector Headright Survey, A-695, Hoskins and Smelser, TR4, located at 1406 Richmond Road, from single family 2 to multiple family 2, Ricky Falcon, Dreams Are Us Properties, TASC, owner. We will have a public hearing on this item at our next meeting on March the 14th and council consideration at that time. We have Michelle Daniel to brief us on this item. Good evening. Good evening, Michelle.
Good evening, Mayor, and good evening, Council. So as you said, this is a request to rezone a tract of land located at 1406 Richmond Road from single family 2 to multiple family 2. The property is currently vacant land and the proposed use is an apartment complex. The future land use map has designated this property as Business Education Center. The adjacent zoning is multiple family 1 to the north and south, general retail to the west, and commercial to the east. The adjacent land use is apartment complexes to the north and south, retail to the west, and vacant land to the east. Staff and Planning and Zoning do recommend for approval of this item, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Michelle on this item? Okay. Item number 2 is ordinance number 2022-020, approving an amendment to PD-02-13 GR for site plan approval on lots 9, 10, and 11, Block 6, Richmond Development 5th Subdivision, located in the 3400 block of Brook Place. Brad Metter with 2B Builders, owner. Same schedule, public hearing on March the 14th, council vote at the same time. Michelle?
So, as you said, this is a request for site plan approval located in the 3400 block of Brook Place for the purpose of constructing 26 apartment units. This is phase 2 of this project. The property is currently vacant land. The adjacent zoning is planned development, general retail to the north, east, west, and south. A portion of the development south of this location is multiple family 1. The adjacent land use is vacant land to the east, offices to the west and south, and apartments to the north. And so the site plan does consist of 26 two-story, 1, 2, and 3-bedroom apartment units. Facades will be hardy board siding, brick, and concrete with rock columns. The access will be from Brook Place, and 2 parking spaces per unit, which include a 1-car garage. Staff and Planning and Zoning do approve this item, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions on this item?
Ms. Daniels, does the same company own
Yes, yes, sir. Or they own the lot that's next to, directly to the east. I do believe they own that lot. I don't know if they own the other three, if that makes sense.
Any other questions? Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate it. We'll now move along to our public hearings. We do have 3 public hearings scheduled this evening. Item 1 is resolution number 2022-013, adopting criteria for use in the decennial redistricting process. A public hearing is scheduled for this evening, as well as council vote. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing open on resolution number 2022-013. If there's anyone who would like to address the council on this item, if you'll please come forward and state your name for the record. Do we have any questions from the council on this item or from the staff? Any additional information, Dr. Orr? Okay. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the resolution? We have a motion by Councilmember Harp. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Williams. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Resolution passes. Item 2 is resolution number 2022-012, establishing mandatory guidelines for persons submitting specific redistricting proposals and for requiring written comments. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing open on this resolution. Public hearing this evening, as well as council vote. If there's anyone who would like to address the council on this particular item, if you'll please come forward and state your name for the record. Any questions from the council on this item? Okay. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the resolution?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Page, a second by Councilmember Davis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The resolution passes. Item 3 is ordinance number 2022-018, approving the voluntary annexation of an 11.376 acre tract in the J.S. Wardson Headright Survey A-745, the J.A. Talbot Headright Survey A-564, and the George Brindley Headright Survey A-18, also known as Deaton Place Subdivision, to the city limits of Texarkana, Bowie County, Texas. Avon Williamson Construction Incorporated owner, Kayla Woods, MTG Engineers and Surveyors agent. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing open. If there's anyone who would like to address the council, please come forward, state your name for the record. Michelle?
Hi, Michelle Daniel. Good evening again, Mayor and Council. So the city of Texarkana, Texas did receive a request for the voluntary annexation of Deaton Place, which is 11.376 acre tract of land located off of Gin Road between Richmond Road and Moores Lane. The proposed uses for the property is a 37-lot subdivision with single-family homes. The City Council has approved a written municipal service agreement for owner petition voluntary annexation on February 14th. And if y'all have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. And I do believe we have the petitioners in the audience that can also answer any questions you may have.
Any questions from the council in reference to city staff or the applicant? No questions? Okay. All right. Thank you, Michelle.
All right, thank you.
I think that's the first time I've ever read the J.S. Wardson Headright Survey. I don't ever remember that particular Headright Survey. Anyway, doesn't mean very much. Just never have remember mentioning that. All right, public hearing is still open. If anyone else would like to address the council, please come forward. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion to approve the ordinance?
Mayor, may I make
Mr.
a
Lewis?
quick comment?
Okay, Mr. Lewis.
We caught a typo in section 3 of the ordinance. The city manager's signature date on the services agreement should read February 15. So if the council approves this ordinance, the corrected copy that will be submitted to the mayor for signature will have the correct signature date on it.
Everybody clear on that? Okay, all right, very good. Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Is there a motion for approval of the ordinance?
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilmember Harp. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Davis. This item does have an ordinance, so we do have a caption. Ms. Evans, if you'll read the caption, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, annexing by petition of landowner the hereinafter described territory of an 11.376 acre tract in the J.S. Warsden HRS A-745, J.A. Talbot HRS A-564, and George Brindley HRS A-18 Deaton Place subdivision to the city of Texarkana, Bowie County, Texas, and extending the boundary limits of said city so as to include said hereinafter described territory within said city limits, granting to all the inhabitants of said territory all the rights and privileges of other citizens, binding said inhabitants by all of the acts, ordinances, resolutions, and regulations of said city, and the property therein, bearing its pro rata part of the taxes levied by the city, incorporating by reference the municipal services agreement, owner petition voluntary annexation between city and landowner, assigning said territory to its adjoining ward, specifying a zoning district classification, providing for the filing of this ordinance with county records, and updating the city boundaries map containing a severability clause, containing a superseding clause, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ordinance passes unanimously. This concludes our public hearings portion of the agenda. We'll now move forward to our city manager's report. Dr. Orr.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just a few updates to pass along to you tonight. First off, we have partnered with Texarkana, Arkansas for some citywide cleanups. The first one will start this Saturday, March the 5th, and it will go each first Saturday of the month throughout the rest of the year. We have dumpsters provided at Waste Management's facility on 7th Street, and so that's 2708 West 7th Street from 8 till noon. We also want to remind our residents that Texarkana, Texas also has bulk waste pickup at the curb as well, so that service will still continue. So here's a flyer, and more information will be sent out later this week regarding the program. Texarkana, Arkansas will also have dumpster locations as well throughout their city. Wanted to mention we had a Texas Interstate Fire Mutual Aid System deployment last week. And so we had 2 members of our fire department respond to the anticipation of wildfire outbreaks in West Texas. The crew included Assistant Fire Chief Chris Black and Deputy Fire Marshal Chuck Wirtz with Brush 5, and I'm excited to report that they are back as of Friday and made it back to town safely. And then final update is the opioid settlements. We had additional settlements from Endo and Teva Pharmaceuticals. These settlements are related to the resolution that was approved by council. That's resolution 2021-091. The Texarkana, Texas portion of the settlement is still estimated to be $192,000. However, that could increase as more companies sign on. Additional information is located at the Texas Attorney General's website. And with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions you have about my report.
Any questions from Dr. Orr? Ms. Evans, I received a letter, and I meant to bring that with me this evening about was it your certification, or would you share with us what you received? I apologize. I meant to bring that letter and to read it this evening, but I wanted to be sure you got recognized for that. Can you share with us what that was about?
Yes, I just completed my first recertification for the Texas Municipal Clerks Association. And so being in this position and carrying that designation, you have to recertify every 5 years to continue to have the designation. So that's what I received just recently in Denton, Texas.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, at this time, move along to administrative comments. Any comments from the council this evening? Share with the staff.
I just want to appreciate Ms. Evans for keeping me in line when it came to my Social Security card and driver's license to get turned into her.
Okay.
Excuse me, was that sincere or?
The first time I actually made it, put it on the back burner. She does a great job keeping the council updated and in the know.
Absolutely. I certainly concur with that. She certainly keeps me where I need to be and at what time, and reminders and all of that. So Jennifer, thank you very much for all you do to support the council. We really appreciate it. Okay. All right. Unless there's any further business to be brought before the council, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion, and is there a second? Second. All right, before I call the vote, I just want to once again thank the Boy Scouts from Troop 86 for being here this evening, along with your leaders. We really appreciate your attendance. I want to thank all of you who joined us in the audience this evening. So we do have a motion and a second for adjournment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. We are adjourned. Hope you have a great evening, and thank you for being here.